Hello everyone and welcome to this demonstration on uploading to the KeyShot Web Viewer. So with the KeyShot Web Viewer, it only comes with a subscription license of KeyShot, and you will also need the KeyShot Web extension. So with the Web Viewer itself, what it allows you to do is upload your KeyShot files to your own personal KeyShot Cloud account, where you've then got control of whether or not that remains on there or if you delete it off. And it will also allow you to create URLs that you can send off to other people so they can view your product via a web browser. Through this web browser, they'll be able to toggle between any configurations that you've set up, whether they are model changes or material changes. They will also be able to look through any rendered images that you may want to include, as well as any XR options. So to upload to the web viewer, you have to click on the Export Mode button that you'll find in the ribbon along the bottom. This will then open up the export settings option, which you'll then find on the right hand side. But if you find these are not visible, just click on the export settings button found at the bottom of the ribbon. You'll see you've now got a kind of condensed menu down here, and that's because this is purely just for the export. You won't be able to do any material or model changes within here. If you need to go back to the library, just click on the exit export mode icon to go back. So under the export mode, there are different options available. Now with the web extension, you've got the web viewer option, which is what we're going to go through today. But just so you can see, you've also got the option just to export out as a GLB, USD, or a file for augmented reality, which is a combination of both the USDZ and the GLB file. So the first thing you would need to do is give your file a name, and this is the name that is going to appear at the top of the browser when someone clicks on that URL link that you sent to them. Underneath this is the location. So this will be the URL where you'll be able to access the model plus any other files you've attached onto it. At the moment, this has not been generated because it has not been uploaded to my KeyShot Cloud account. But once it has been uploaded, this is where I'll find the link. So looking below this, I've got the different model quality settings. These are looking at the resolution aspect for your textures and materials that are applied to your model. Now what you see at the moment in the screen is not what it's going to look like on the web browser. This is still the imagery from the KeyShot screen. So based on the fact that I've got the overall quality set to low, what I'm going to do is at the bottom here is click on preview to see what that will look like when it goes onto the web. And as we can see, especially on the frame of the bike, that pattern texture that I had on there seems to be kind of blurred out and not as crisp as clear to show the user what it is actually meant to look like. You will also find that there are probably other areas of the model where the texture is not quite as clean and crisp as you would want. So it is always good just to check that preview button as you are toggling between the different quality settings. So with the medium quality setting, I can now start to see that texture coming through on the main frame, and even the wheels are looking a bit sharper as well. Now, if you find there are areas which still need a little bit of a higher quality, but the rest of it is looking okay, then what you can do is you can find that part in the list and change the quality within here. Okay, so they'll just limit it just to this one particular part of a higher quality or a lower quality, depending on which way you want to go. Underneath the quality settings is an output setting. And if you want to allow for people to see your model in augmented reality, then you will need to tick this if they are using a device that uses an iOS operating system. This is just so that the correct file format is generated on upload. If your file had any displacement or flakes within there, there'd also be an option here to make sure they are baked in. So going down, there are extra options that you can add on into this upload to your web viewer. You could, for example, add in extra imagery, and these can be of your rendered images of your final model, just so it's a bit clearer to people what it might be looking like in different lighting scenarios. If you didn't already have pre-rendered images, you can tick on the render still images from my list of cameras underneath, and they'll be generated here and now. The final thing you can add in is an XR file. So these files will need to be pre-created and do require the KeyShot Web extension file to build them. And once they've created and you've got your folder of frames, there'll also be this 360 file which you can then upload into your web viewer. The 360 file links together all those frames to then create that file on the web. When you are then happy with all of your selections and you've got everything in place, you can then click on Upload to upload it to your web viewer. If your scene had multi-materials within there or model sets, then the web viewer can also automatically create a configuration setup for you so that the end user is able to toggle between different models or different materials that you have pre-programmed into your file. If, however, these configurations need to be a little bit more complex, so therefore if a specific material is selected, then another one has to be chosen, or if a specific component is picked, that then gives you access to other components. These elements will need to be created in the configurator wizard prior to upload on the web viewer. So once your file is uploaded, if you go back to the top of that export settings window, you'll see the location has now been populated with a URL. So here I can click on it to view it within my web browser, as well as copy it to send out to other people. So when you click on the link, I said it will open up in the default web browser on that particular machine. And here, the end user is then able to rotate your model around freely using their mouse. And if there were any configurations within there, they can then also toggle those elements on and off. Similar to with any material options that might be in place, again, you can select different elements, and if those options are available, they can toggle between them. The other things that we also uploaded within here were some individual images, which the end user again can also just keep toggling between, and these are the ones that have been rendered directly from KeyShot, just in case they wanted to see them in different lightings or specific angles. So the other thing that we also attached to this particular web viewer example was the KeyShot XR, and this allows the end user to use their mouse to rotate around the model, looking at fully rendered images. Going back to the 3D model, if this was being viewed on a tablet or mobile device, then in the top right-hand corner there is the option to view this scene in augmented reality, and if they have a compatible headset, they can also view this scene in virtual reality. So that is how you can upload and use the KeyShot Web Viewer. Thank you for listening.